Do you have a tip to get out of a really bad, long depression? I'm scared. I'm going to un- un- unlive myself if I don't do something soon. Dave, I hope you're not saying what I think you're saying. You're talking about depression. Let me ask you something, Dave. Okay, I'm gonna take you very seriously. I don't know if you're trolling here. I hope you're not. This is a very, very serious question. One time, what's his name? I'm trying to remember. One of my favorite authors back in the day. I used to read his stuff. He said, "Look, when it comes to depression, here's what I want you to do." And he wasn't being totally serious. He says, "Look, take the individual and throw him down the stairs." Okay. Stephen Chandler, crazy guy. He says, look, take the guy, throw him down the stairs. Let's see if he's depressed after. Why? Okay, guys, this is just a thought experiment. Obviously, we're not throwing anybody down the stairs. He's trying to say, look, when you're falling down the stairs, you're gonna think, hey, I was happier a second ago. Life was better. I really don't want to fall down these stairs because this is pain on pain on pain on injury. Wow, as I'm falling down the stairs, I'm thinking how life just got really, really bad. I was actually not so bad a minute ago. I'm way better than I am now. Like that's what he's trying to say. He says, look, life could be so much worse. You gotta develop an ability to have gratitude. Gratitude. I want you to wake up every day and think about what you're grateful for. Me, every night, every morning, every night, I wake up and I think of the first thing I think. Oh, I thank God for all these. I'm so grateful for these things. These things. This is what I'm grateful for. I have something good in my life. It's a paradigm shift. People who are depressed, in my opinion, are focusing on the things. They're making up a story in their mind. They have we all have a narrative in our mind. Okay, we all have a narrative. A narrative is a story we tell ourselves in our mind. Turn your narrative into one of gratitude. This is highly, highly important. Your life is better than most people throughout history. In the words of Thomas Hobbes, one of the great thinkers in history, one of the great philosophers, he says, look, life, he's talking about the life of the vast majority of human beings, not modern human beings. If you saw today's modern life, he would freak out. He'd be like, hey, you guys have it really good. He was talking about the vast majority of human beings. Their life was short, nasty, and brutish. Most people died at a very young age. Half the population in the ancient world died in childhood. The other were poor, pandemics, like all sorts of wars, violence, history. For those of you who don't study history, human history, most of it, no, the vast majority of it was one big giant bloodbath. We live in the most peaceful time in history. Look that up. Ask any historian. When is the most peaceful time in history? He's going to be like, right now. Right now, you live in the most prosperous, peaceful time in history. We are the gazillionaires of human history, yet we feel depressed. If experts estimate there's been about 100 billion human beings on average, okay? Their best estimate, I should say, is about 100 billion. There's 8 billion on the planet right now. So 8% of the humans in existence live right now. We're the gazillionaires. We are the gazillionaires of human history. I remember I was watching this dumb movie once, a long time ago. It was about this, I can't remember the name. It was like a slapstick comedy. It was about this rich rap kid. Like he lives in Beverly Hills, but he wants to be a rapper and he wants to rap about like the hard life. But he lives in the best like place you can, like the richest place. And he's having breakfast and he's like, man, he has a private home with a private beach, of course. And he's got miles and miles of beach. And he sees people in the distance walking on his private beach, but he's having his beautiful breakfast in the ocean view and they're like miles away. He's like, people are walking up on my private beach again. Like this is the thorn in his side. Now, of course, it's a slapstick. It's an exaggeration. But really, if you look at all human history, that's what we're doing in our modern day and age. We got to get some perspective. You are born in one of the greatest times in history, the easiest times in history. Really what it is life is so easy right now that we don't have a fear. We don't have a hunger to go out there and achieve and dig and claw our way. People who are pioneers, they don't have time to be depressed. People who are working hard to try to survive and thrive. They don't have time to be depressed. People who are usually depressed, they're comparing their lives with others. So like, for instance, if you have a fridge, if you can drink ice water, like kings didn't taste ice water. Ice water? Like, I don't eat dinner, right? I fast. I stop eating at 6 usually. Ice water is like my meal. It's such a great, I even have it in the winter. Ice water, man, is one of the greatest luxuries in history. There were kings that never touched ice water. You know, it's amazing because the Egyptians actually produce ice. That's another story for another day. But very few Egyptians could come home in an air-conditioned room and have ice water. Very few. And there were kings, there were rulers, the most powerful men in history. They didn't have ice water. Like, how many countless luxuries do we have? That's where you should put your mind. I think it can help alleviate your symptoms. Another thing is, I like what Andrew Tate says. He's like, I don't believe in depression. It's not in his narrative. He's always looking, and the guy went to jail for 3 months. You know, if you're gonna get depressed, it's probably gonna be in jail. Imagine you're living a life with Bugattis and whatever. You're living in a mansion, and all of a sudden you're in a little jail cell. Your first Ramadan, you're taking it in the jail cell. That's really tough. You know, this is a very difficult test, fitna for him. Very difficult. Yet he stayed strong. He came out. He's like, I'm never gonna quit. They're never gonna break me. You gotta develop that kind of mindset. Your mindset, be very, very stern with your mindset. Always positive. Always.